Good morning, gifted crafters. It's crafting time.
Me and my friends are having a great time. It's not face to face, it's all online. We're all in our homes, miles away. Love them like my family, what can I say? My crafting show is on, it's my time for me. Laughter, tips and tricks, this is what I need. We're here to have fun, we're all in the zone. When crafting with friends, you're never alone. Don't call or text me, it's about to begin. I've been patient, time for me to chime in. Comfy clothes on, feeling just fine. I'm busy right now, it's crafting show time. My crafting show is on, it's my time for me. Laughter, tips and tricks, this is what I need. We're here to have fun, we're all in the zone. When crafting with friends, you're never alone. The host came on, they are truly a gem. Here for the show and to chat with my friends. Chat with each other about this and that. We share ideas, wisdom and other fun facts. My crafting show is on, it's my time for me. Laughter, tips and tricks, this is what I need. We're here to have fun, we're all in the zone. When crafting with friends, you'll never...
Live from the Sunshine State in Miami, Florida, here is the Gifted Crafters Morning Show with Nancy.
Good time. Ooh, time to get our craft on. Ooh, time to have fun. Ooh, time to feel good.
Good morning, Gifted Crafters, and welcome back to the Gifted Crafters Morning Show. Good morning out there. Hello, hello, hello. Alrighty, I see people from Wisconsin. I see Pennsylvania. Let's see, I see Philadelphia. Oh, hello, neighbor. I see Miami is on. Yay! Alrighty, yeah, we had some really stormy weather last night. It was just really stormy and kind of ugly out there. But hopefully today's going to be a much better day. Good morning from Boston. Hello, and we have another Nancy. Yay! Good morning. Here's my friends from Canada. Good morning. Alrighty, I see everyone is slowly trickling in here. Let's see here. We've got Texas here, San Antonio, Texas. Good morning. Alrighty, hey Jenny. And we've got Lisa and Sue and Robin and Cindy. Oh, Cindy's hand sewing this morning. Nice. Alrighty, North Central Texas is here too. Hey Becky. Okay. So we've got a lot to cover today, and I'm hoping, really hoping that I am able to kind of cover it all today, because we're going to do a cute little embroidery project today. I know you guys love embroidery, so I thought, you know, let's switch over to some embroidery projects and get some of that in. I'm hoping we can finish the entire thing by the end of this week. I think we'll be able to. Seems to be going pretty quick. I think it's a lot of fun and it's Halloween based, but we'll get into all of that. For right now, let's raise our glasses because I know you guys gotta be thirsty, right? Just go ahead and raise your glass of whatever it is that you're drinking in the morning, and I'll just pour you a cup as well. Alrighty, yay. Okay, so there we go. Let's pour that going. And hopefully you like that one lump or two, whatever it is you're having in the morning. Just grab a little chisel, raise those glasses so we have a fantastic day. And let's go ahead and take that little sip. All right, yum. Okay, so, oh, I see Lori's asking what happened to the autumn skies pattern you were working on. We're still working on that, Lori. Remember, we've done the woven star on that one, and all we have to do now is repeat that woven star over and over again. And then once I finished all the woven stars, we'll jump right back into it to do the border, the binding, and everything else. So right now I'm just repeating the same star that we did over and over again, and just finishing those up. So I didn't think you wanted to see me do them over and over. But it's the same steps, and then once I'm done with those steps, we're going to jump back into that project. So in the meantime, we'll do a quick little embroidery project for Halloween. I thought that would be fun. Let's see here. Oops, let me okay, did I sound a little muffled? I think maybe it was my hair was in the way. Okay, so guys. Oh no, Hurricane Katrina. Oh yeah, Faker McFake's talking about Hurricane Katrina. Oh boy, yeah. Let's hope that we don't run into no power outages. Yeah, those are not fun. And you know, sewing machines don't work without power, but you know, we've got a little generator for the sewing machine. Gotta sew even during a hurricane, right? We'll call it hurricane sewing. Okay. All right. So guys, we've got our drinks. Let's go ahead and get our snacks for the morning. I think today we're going to do our little food cart, get our little exercise going and get that in. So let's roll in our little food cart. Of course, we've got all the fun little snacks that you get on the regular food truck as well. We've got the coffee, the Danish, the tea, the cookies, the donuts. We've got soda. We've even got carrots and kale for the healthy people in our lives there. So we've got a little bit of everything, and I hope you guys enjoyed that, and take your little snacks and get yourself in your little cozy spot because we're ready to start things off. So we're going to be making a Designs by Juju Halloween wreath, and I thought this was pretty amazing. It's a pretty cute little project. And it's, you know, it doesn't take too much to get this done. And you've got a lot of different options that you can do. So these are some really nice little, I guess I want to call them plushies. They're not really plushies, you know, but you can basically make these and you can kind of put them all around in a wreath. Or if you want to do a little table runner that way, you can do, they're all kind of freestanding, and I'll show one that I was able to do really quick. And you can see it's got the little backing here, and I did this, it kind of looks like a little terry towel, but we'll get into all the supplies that you can use with this, and you can really have a lot of fun with some of these. And then all you have to do, this is the 5x7 hoop size that I used, and then once you've done all of these little characters, then you can kind of use the little stars and other little designs that they give you to kind of put them together, put them in a circular motion, and then put them as a wreath. And you can put something behind them to kind of really secure it into place as well, and that kind of holds the whole thing together. So it you know, it can be in as elaborate as you want to make it. So really cute on that one. How big is it? Let me see. I'm not sure if they say the size. I know it is on sale right now on their website. Got it for $7.20. So pretty pretty nice little size here. Okay, approximate finished size is 13.9 by 12.9. And that's for the 5x7 hoop. If you're using the 6x10 hoop, it's 18.6 by 17.2. And if you're using the 7x12 hoop, that can be 22.9 by 21.1. And so I'll show you that finished size without showing you too much there. That's the finished sizes. Okay, so pretty neat. Looks like a fun, quick little project that you can pull together relatively quickly. And it's a little fun thing that you can have just to kind of prep yourself for Halloween, which will be coming up sooner than you know it. I mean, school starts and then it's just like, boom, it's Halloween. You know? So it comes up really, really fast. So, so I went ahead and I did print out the instructions. I printed out some of these thumbnails, so they give you a little bit of information there. But if you go ahead and purchase the pattern from Designs by Juju, you know, you just download all of that information along with all of the files for the hoop size that you have set for your machine. So I thought it'd be a lot of fun to just kind of put that together with you guys. And then hopefully that will kind of take us through this week. And then next week, we're going to start working on the spooky and sweet sew along. And let me move this over to the side. And this is something you can get from the Fat Quarter Shop. They have the kit available. Okay, this is called Spooky and Sweet. This is a sew along that they did, I believe it was last year. And I purchased it, and it's relatively a decent price. It was under, I think it was like $60 or something like that. It really wasn't too bad in terms of the price. Did get it from the Fat Quarter Shop, and it did come with all of the fabrics. The pattern is free. You just download the pattern, but I got the fabric kit. But if you want to use your own fabrics, you can do that as well. And then you can kind of follow me along and do this with me. It'd be a lot of fun to see how everybody puts this together. I thought it was a really cute little pattern, and I want to go ahead and try to make that for Halloween. And we can do that next week. And then hopefully I will have all of my stars done, and I'll be ready to do the border. So then we'll kind of just, you know, look and kind of do that all together. So we'll finish that one up as well. But the Fat Quarter Shop is where what sells it. I have the link in the description below for next week, and then for Designs by Juju for today's project is in the link as well. Alrighty. Oh, we've got Roz from Australia. Hello, Roz. Thanks for joining. Awesome. Alrighty. And from Tennessee, we've got Betita. And good morning from East Texas. Awesome. Okay, so let's get going on this. We've got our crafting news to go through, and I have a couple stories that are pretty interesting, and I want to get you guys informed on those things. Alrighty, so let's start off with a beautiful reminder that quilts can do more than just keep us warm. They really can wrap an entire community in love. So we're gonna go over to Texas, and I know we have a couple people out there from Texas. Now, after some really deadly floods that struck the Texas Hill County on July the 4th, Connie Quartz, the quilt shop owner of My Fabric Friends in Victoria, Texas, asked herself, what is a quilt but a big hug? And so she started sewing bright red poppy quilts, and each one was symbolizing remembrance and peace, and she invited other quilters to join in. Now, the response was just incredible. There were quilters from all over the US and even Canada that have sent in more than 175 finished quilts and over 3,000 poppy blocks. Actually, that number's now 4,988, and that was checked by Mr. H over here. He's the fact checker. And so some donations are just a block and others are just armfuls of quilts. But every stitch carries a lot of love and comfort for those flood survivors. Now, volunteers at Connie's shop are pretty much buzzing day and night. They're cutting, they're piecing, they're packing the quilts for delivery in September. And My Fabric Friends is seeking donations of 12-inch poppy blocks, quilt squares. And if you're interested and you want to hear more about the updates, about the cause, you can check out Connie's YouTube channel. It's called 1/4 Inch of Magic. And it's proof, you know, that when tragedy strikes, us makers, we show up with our fabric, our thread, and a whole lot of heart. And I thought that it's really wonderful and amazing that she's doing something to help the community. And I just love how everyone just kind of joined in and are really helping those people out. So we've got the link in the chat. You can check out her channel. It's really cool. I think you guys will really enjoy that. Okay, now today, another story we have is just on today's date. So it's a little bit of a mystery on our hands because it's National Sewing Machine Day. Now, here's the catch. Some people celebrate it on June the 13th, and other people celebrate it and swear that it's on August the 12th. So which one is it really? Well, we got to go back, way back to 1790, where the English inventor Thomas Saint received his first patent, which was first known as the sewing machine design. And that was just, you know, a huge leap forward. It would take a few more years before the work of other inventors like Elias Howe and Isaiah Singer, before they came up with a sewing machine that was practical really for our everyday use, right? So you've got June the 13th, way back in 1790, right? When we've got Thomas Saint, who has his first patent. And then we have the date of 1850 when Isaiah Singer got his own patent. And he just, his design made machines easier to use, more reliable. They made them, you know, more importantly, more affordable for home sewers. So what's the truth? Which date is it? Really, there's no answer. So just celebrate it twice. You know, all of our sewing machines put a lot of overtime into turning fabric, thread, and imagination into something really special. So let's just celebrate it twice. So whether it's June or it's August or maybe it's both, let's just honor the tool that keeps our creativity moving forward, right? So happy National Sewing Day to everyone, whenever you decide to celebrate it. So I thought that was a pretty cool story. Alrighty, so, and speaking of sewing machines also, I know that Brother has come up with a new lineup. And it is pretty close. It was sometime I thought this week they were going to be releasing those. So we should see some news coming out of the Brother company out there to see what kind of new machines they've got lined up for us. So pretty interesting on that one. Okay, so now let's get over to our project. So we've got our Halloween wreath here. And I did one last night, but I'm going to show you how I did this one. And we're going to kind of just jump in really quickly into my laptop here. And I'm going to show you, I went ahead and got the design and I put it onto Embroidery so I can check it out here and see what was going on. And I want to kind of talk to you about a couple of options that you can do on here. So of course you've got your project when you first bring it in, your properties and your objects box will look like this. And so you can go ahead and hit the little plus sign and you can see all of the steps underneath here. So on here, you've got all your steps and it's a pretty simple little design. Of course, this is freestanding lace, so we are using our water soluble stabilizer, and I'm using 2 layers of that in my hoop. So on here, this is the one that I'm going to be using here. It's just a simple water soluble stabilizer, and I got 2 layers on it. I've already hooped it up and I put it on the machine to save us some time, and it wants to go ahead and do the first step. So the first step, there we go. Once I highlight it here, it tells me deep rose. I'm not going to change the colors on here. I'm going to just leave it as the white. These colors are just for indicators for you to let you know what step you are on. Now, when you download the instructions, even though we're doing the ghost, they provide instructions for one of the items, which happens to be the witch, but they pretty much go the same way. So this is kind of like an example of what's to expect when you're doing this and what you would need to do. So first step is to go ahead and do the placement line. I've got this already on my little embroidery machine here. So I'm going to go ahead. I loaded the design. I hit the embroidery button. I've already did the tracing to make sure it's fitting into the hoop. So I'm just going to go ahead and lower my presser foot and hit start, and allows that to start tracing it. And we're just doing a trace right on the water soluble stabilizer. That's all we're doing. So as it does that trace, you can see why I really don't need a lot of different colored thread, because I'm using this water soluble stabilizer, and you can clearly see where the actual stitch is happening. So it's pretty easy to see. So we're just gonna, save some time and just use the white thread. Now I'm going to take my piece of batting, and the instructions will tell you the measurements in terms of how much to cut in terms of the batting. But you just really need enough to be able to cover the design. So we're going to go ahead and lay that on top. Just make sure that it is covered completely. And then I can go ahead and hit the little button, have it do the next step, which is the tack down line. So it's going to go ahead and tack down that little piece of batting for me. And then it's going to want to do another little tack down line, and it's going to be with the material or the fabric that you're going to put on top. And this is the fun part, right? Because you can use so many different things. Now, when you look at the one that I use, let's look at that a little closely here. See if I can move this over. So when you're looking at this, you can see the type of material almost resembles like a towel. And I guess you could certainly use a towel. I wouldn't use anything too thick. But what I ended up using is something really simple and really inexpensive. It's very inexpensive because you can get these at the Dollar Tree. These are just some, they call it fabric or tissue, I think is what they're trying to say. And it's from Crafter's Square. So it's just the Dollar Tree brand. Very, very, it's not anything expensive, because I don't want to use really expensive fabric to do this wreath. So I went ahead and just used this. And when you open it here, here's the backing. And, when I look, especially this color, I see little teddy bears. And I'm like, oh gosh, this would look really cute if you are doing a freestanding lace of like a little teddy bear, or if you're trying to do a little plushie for a child. And I thought this would work really well with that. And it looks like it's really easy to work with and inexpensive, right? So it gives you 12-inch by 24-inch is what it comes in. And so I did get a couple of colors on here. And so I have this white color here, and I thought that would be perfect for the little ghost. So I went ahead and used that on the front and on the back. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and put it on the embroidery machine. It's kind of waiting right now for me to do that. And now I'm not going to cut it. I'm just going to go ahead and leave the entire amount. And I'm just going to lay it onto this little corner right here. And then once it's done, I'll cut the rest away. Only because I want to try to save as much of this as I can. So let's put this on here. Oh, sorry. Did forget one thing. We do have to take it off the hoop. Because of course, we have to cut our batting. So one thing you can do if you want to, we're doing this the old-fashioned way, but one thing you can do is you can go ahead and cut these shapes on your scan and cut and have the scan and cut the fabric for you. So if you'd like, you can do that as well, because I'm using this material and it's got like a lot of little loopy things. I don't want it getting caught up in my scan and cut, so I decided let's just do this the old-fashioned way. And so we're going to do that. Now, my daughter got me these duck scissors. I'm not too much of a fan of it because I am left-handed, and as you can see, I'm using it this way. Really, it's supposed to be this way because this is supposed to protect the bottom of your fabric, but it doesn't really work with me because I'm left-handed. So I'm looking for a really good pair of left-handed duck scissors. If you guys know of any brands that you like, let me know, because I'm looking for something better. Oh, you enabler, you. I had to go order the spooky quilt kit from Fat Quarter Shop. Oh my goodness. Yes, I mean, come on, it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun to do that together. I think it's super cute. That thing is so cute. I mean, come on, that'll be a lot of fun. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it. I know you will. It'll be fun to put that together. So because my duck scissors are really for right-handed, it doesn't, first I'm not comfortable using it because, you know, I'm afraid I'm going to cut into the fabric because I'm using the wrong side of that duck scissors. So yeah. Oh, Becky says I'm a lefty too, but I use those all the time. No problem. You do, Becky. I get afraid that I'm going to cut the fabric underneath because I can't really see what I'm doing with, you know, because I'm using it backwards. It's like us lefties, we have to do everything backwards. We're like lefties living in a right-handed world. At least that's how you feel sometimes, right? But I ended up using these scissors and they work pretty well. And they're allowing me to get really up and close to the stitches. And so look at all this batting. You know, I will put that to the side because, you know, you can kind of sew batting, pieces of batting together. And batting's gotten really expensive lately. So tiny pieces I really won't save, but anything that I can kind of sew together, I'll save it and sew them together to use for another project. There we go. Okay. I think we did good. And we grab that other little piece. So I was able to cut these out. Here we go. This is what it looks like. Nice and cut out here. And so now let's bring this back over to the sewing machine. Let me just see if I want to make any last minute little tiny trims. You want to get as close to the stitches as you can get without cutting into the stitches, right? So I'm going to bring this back over to my machine here, and I'm going to put it on the hoop. There we go. And now I'm going to take that fabric we were talking about, and I'm just going to put it right over it as long as I'm covering it. Just put it right over the hoop there. Make sure it's nice and flat. There we go. I think that's great. Now, it has all this little, you you know, fluffy side here. So I just want to keep an eye on my needle, making sure it doesn't get caught up on any of this stuff. But when I did it the first time, I didn't have any issues. So hopefully we won't have any now. So I'm going to go ahead and keep the same thread color, and I'm going to let it go ahead and stitch out. And this is now just going to tack down the fabric to the actual design here. And just kind of keep your eye on it a little bit here. It looks fine. You could cut this to size if you wanted to. You don't have to cut it. I just wanted to kind of leave it. I probably could have saved a little bit more fabric by shifting it over a little bit more, but that's fine. This is the second one that I'm doing, but we will need another piece for the back of the ghost because you're going to do the same thing on the back as well. So there we go. All done here. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take it off the hoop again. Now you're not taking the project off your hoop. I'm sorry, you're just taking the hoop out of the machine. We're going to leave the project in place. You're not taking anything off the hoop. So now I'm just going to go around and I'm going to cut the fabric, and then I'm going to put it back on the machine again, and it'll do its final little stitch out. So I'm just going to cut my way into the project here, and then I just kind of go around the little line, and I have my finger kind of moving ahead of me and just kind of guides me, so I know kind of what's coming up and where to guide my scissors. But by holding it up this way, I'm able to kind of just see where the stitch line is, because you don't want to cut into your project. And I know there's a little dip here, so I can put my finger kind of inside a little, and then I just kind of go around. And be very careful, you don't want to puncture your water-soluble stabilizer. You're going to need that. And you do need 2 layers of it, because it's going to do a nice satin stitch all the way around, and that's pretty dense. And so you want to make sure that you have enough stabilization for it. So go ahead and make sure your water-soluble stabilizer is in place and that you have 2 layers to support it. So I'm just cutting all the way around. Let's see, here we go. I'm on the bottom of the ghost, and it's got these little curvy things. So I'm just kind of following that stitch line and kind of pulling the fabric up as I go and moving the hoop around so that I can get the best cut here. And I think we are towards the end. There we go. Okay, we've got, oops, give it a little shake there. There we go. And so you may want to go back and trim any places that you missed, but you want to make sure you're as close to that trim line as you can possibly get, because like I said, one of the stitches is going to go around and do a satin stitch all the way around this thing. So if it does that satin stitch, you want to make sure that you don't have any fuzzies sticking out, which you can probably just cut off after, but you're going to see here the satin stitch that it does. Okay, so you want to make sure you can get nice clean lines. So go ahead and put that back into your machine now. Let's see, and it's going to tell you to use the standard applique method to add your fabrics, and then it's going to tell you there's going to be, you just follow those steps, and then you're going to get to a point where the machine is going to want to do another overall stitch all the way around. And before it does that stitch, we're going to add the fabric to the back of the hoop, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Let's just put this in. I'm going to go ahead and change the threads here. So we've got our white thread on here and the machine is telling us which one to use. So we'll grab our next thread color and we're going to go ahead and change our threads. So to do that, I will snip my thread from the top and then I will join it with my new thread by just tying that knot. Whoops, I don't know if I grabbed the thread here. There we go. Making that little knot, and then I'm just going to grab the thread from the bottom where the needle is and pull it all the way through, and then I will cut, lowering the presser foot, and then go ahead, oops, there we go, and go ahead and cut that thread. So that's how you change your thread without damaging your tension in your machine. Please don't pull out the thread from the top and yank them off. That is not a good way to treat your machine. You definitely want to pull it through the bottom, flow it the same direction so that your tensions on your machine will last a lot longer. Your machine will really love you for it and it'll last longer too, because you definitely don't want to do that. So right now it's got a little blue thread there and it's going to go ahead and stitch out the little googly eyes. So let's jump back into the laptop so I can show you a couple of things here. Let's see, Jenny says, Miss Nancy, Google left-handed duck bill scissors, found several vendors. Oh, great, Jenny. Awesome. I don't know, are you left-handed, Jenny? If you do, I mean, there's a few, I just don't know which one to pick from. So there's a couple options. I don't know if any of you guys have one that you prefer, that you like. I'm just looking for little hints on which one is the best one to get. So yeah, that'd be great. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. So I'm gonna be on the hunt for those, because I mean, I can use them. It's just I like to have the curve face down. This one is curved duck, so when I use it, this is on the bottom, but the intention is so that it's this way. And this part here is to protect your fabric so you don't cut it. And so it makes it really difficult for me to kind of use it because now it's curved the wrong way. So I don't know. I'm going to look for another pair that I think will work better for me. Okay. Oh, you're right-handed. Okay, that's fine. I'll keep searching around. If you have any suggestions, send them my way and I'll take a look at them. Okay. So we're jumping back into Embroids, and so you can see I opened up the design, and what I wanted to kind of show you is, although I'm just going to stitch it out the way it is, I wanted to show you how you can kind of really personalize some of this stuff here. So we've got our design that's going to stitched out. It did the tack down, I'm sorry, the placement line. It did the tack down line here. And then we laid down the fabric, so we tacked that down. And then right now it's just finished actually the little eyes. So it's doing the little eyes on there. Now you can just stop after you've already done the third step where you've put your fabric down, and then maybe skip the eyes, and maybe you want to skip the mouth as well. Maybe you want to put little googly eyes and just glue that to your fabric. You can do that too and not embroider that piece. But I want to show you some other things that you can do. You can merge other designs to this, but you also can add some text to it. So if I wanted to kind of come up here and create some letters, I can go into my text section and I can just type the word boo, right? And then you can kind of just see where you have it here. I think it's really nice. Or you can use your arrows or up and down and just move it to anywhere that you want. And you can change your text. Maybe you're not crazy with this text and you wanted to change it to something else. You can definitely do that as well. Just go through, hit your little drop down here, and all of your text, your fonts will appear. And so you can just pick anything you'd like, you know, and kind of resize. Whoops. You can resize that. You know, just picking any font you want, and you can just add it, and that'll allow you to just kind of personalize it. And you can put the person's name or anything. So if you got to look at the spaces that you have within the embroidery file. You know, you can just add a name on here or just any little text, you know, just anything to kind of personalize it. So one thing you can do is adding text to it. You can merge designs to it as well, or you can even change the material that you are using to make the embroidery, right? You don't have to use fabric. You can use vinyl, right? If maybe you want to use one of those really shimmery, let me grab a roll here. We've got some glittery vinyl that you could use as well, right? So you can use some of that instead of fabric, and you can change it up and just kind of make it your own. But other things that I wanted to kind of show you on here, they do have, and let me see if I can find the option here. They have a couple of different things. So they have this thing called density map on here, and when you click on that, your screen's going to turn dark just like mine did, and so it allows you to kind of see the stitches. And this one is not, you know, it's a very light design, so it really doesn't have a lot of heavy stitches on here, but you know, it does allow you to see your design, whether you want it with the grid, or if you click it again, it'll remove the grid and you'll have just the dark background. But it allows you to really take a really good look at the stitches themselves, and you can kind of just move in and you can see the stitches here. And usually if it's a very heavy stitch, you'll start to see things with the red colors coming up. And that's just kind of to tell you a little bit about the file itself. Is it a very heavy, dense design? The density map is able to tell you that. So if you're looking at a design and you're not too sure, especially for these freestanding lace ones, you're not sure whether to use just one layer of water soluble stabilizer, or maybe you're doing something with tearaway and you're not sure if I should use one layer of tearaway or two layers of tearaway, or maybe you are using cutaway and you're not sure if you need to use cutaway. This is a nice way to check out your stitches to see how dense they are, to help you make that decision as well. Which embrilliance am I using? I have Stitch Artist 2 on here. That's the latest that I've built up. I do have Enthusiast, Stitch Artist 1 and Stitch Artist 2 loaded onto this machine. I'm going to be getting Stitch Artist 3 pretty soon, but I wanted to kind of master some of these skills as I tend to build up. So yeah, it's really, really nice. So that is, I think, a really good way to kind of look at your design to see how dense is this design. Am I able to use one layer of, let's say, cutaway, or do I need something, or maybe just one layer of tearaway, or maybe I need to use cutaway, or, you know, something a little bit more dense. By looking at the density map, that helps as well to tell you whether or not this is going to be something that's really going to require a lot of stabilization to it. So that density map is up on the top. It's got that little chart, and you can see as I hover over it, it'll tell you density map. And then to just jump out of it, you just click on it again and it'll go right back to normal. So again, when you hover on it, you click on it once, it gives it to you with the grid lines in the background. If you don't want the grid lines, just click on it again. It'll give you the dark background, and then just click on it one more time and it'll take you right back to where you were. So I just wanted to kind of show you that little feature. I think it's really nice that's available to allow you to really take a deep look at the design that you're using, because some of them are a little bit more dense than others. So you want to just kind of look at that. They also have, I'm not sure where that option is. I always forget where it goes. They do have a little option. Let me see if I can find it, because I always forget where it is. There is a little option that tells you, I'm going to jump out of Stitch Artist. Oh, jump into Stitch Artist, I mean. There is a project advisor, and I always forget where that thing is. I'll have to find it and show it to you guys. There is, oh, here it is. Okay, so if you go under Utility, there's Project Advisor. And when you click on that, it gives you some recommendations of what you can use. So it'll tell you to let it know what material you're using to make the design. So you can click on the drop down and you've got a whole bunch of options that you have here. If you're using canvas, cotton poly, fleece, knit, leather, whatever it is that you are embroidering on, you click on that material and it'll give you the recommendations here for what you need to use. The fabric thickness, you know, is it light, medium, or heavy? Let's say it's heavy. Let's give it heavy and see what it tells us. And then it tells you, what about the fabric stretch? Is there some stretch to it? Is there no stretch, or is there a lot of stretch? Are you using those knitted fabrics? You know, this, where is this? This here is 100% polyester, and it does have some stretch to it, right? It has a lot of stretch here and no stretch really on this end here. So I'm going to just go ahead and say a lot of stretch. All right, and actually I'm going to change this because it's not heavy. I'm just going to say it's medium. Right, and so as you make those changes, it does tell you here what the recommendations are for the needle, and it does tell you a lot for the stabilizer to use as well. It also gives you a little bit of information down here on the bottom as you make a lot of changes on here. So really just play around with these options if you're not sure what type of stabilizer you need to use for your projects, because that's another good way of looking at the density of the design itself, as well as checking out the project advisor and see what the software tells you to do. So let's jump back over to the machine, because I do think I need to change my threads here again. So let me grab my scissors. I've got the blue thread. We're going to go ahead and cut that off. And I do need to put in some black thread here. It's still working on the eyes. So again, let's go ahead and make the little knot. And then I'm going to lift up my presser foot. That'll release the tension, and then pull it from the bottom. And I have my little knot that came out. So I'm going to bring that presser foot back down. I'm going to walk over here and just cut my threads there. Okay. And then I can go ahead and just continue. It's going to do the rest of the eyes. So it's doing that little black piece to resemble the little eyeballs. So that's what it's doing here. Now, I haven't even cut my jump stitches on this, so let's see if this can focus. So it's doing the little black there. So we're doing that. The next two pieces that it's going to do are the little cheek and then the mouth. Now, I can tell you for the mouth, I ran it twice. It's a very thin little line. If you wanted to, you can play in Embrilliance and try to see if you can thicken that line a little bit. Maybe make your own little mouth and change it up. But I did run it twice because this is so plushy and the material that I'm using has so many little loops. It was kind of hiding the little mouth and I couldn't really see it very well. So I just ran it again and then it was totally fine. So you may want to be careful with that. Oh, we've got a birthday. Sue Galvin, happy birthday. Oh, wow. Well, happy birthday to you and I hope you have a fantastic day. I'm glad. There we've got the people on the chat. They are on it, man. They are on it. Awesome. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and looks like it finished. So I'm gonna clip that one off. I'm gonna do one more change here. And we're gonna do the little cheeks. And I'm gonna put that on the machine. And again, changing my threads. Do my little knot. Oop. There we go. Did my little knot there. Raise my presser foot and change those threads. I'm going to go ahead, bring that down, and cut my threads there. All right, we're going to hit go. So it's going to go ahead and do that for about 2 minutes. So we're almost there. It's got the little cheeks. That's going to take about 2 minutes. Then we've got about one more thread change, and then we're going to be putting in the back part of the fabric to the bottom of the hoop. And in order to do that, you're going to need the fabric, but you're also going to need some painter's tape. That's what I use for the back of the hoop. Now for the back, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my fabric to size. Did I say I was using a 5x7 hoop? Yes, I am. I'm using the 5x7 hoop and I was able to get the little design. But the pattern itself allows you to use, what was it? You can use a 5x7, a 6x10, or a 7x12 hoop size. So if you have a machine with a bigger hoop size, you can use those. Yay, happy birthday, yay. Oh, yours is tomorrow. Awesome, we've got so many birthdays. Well, we'll sing you happy birthday tomorrow too. Awesome, so that machine is going, and you know, big applause to Mr. H because we're using the multiple camera angles. Now, not many people can use these multiple camera angles because there's a lot to it when you're doing, there's got a lot of software restrictions that are on out there. So thanks to Mr. H, we're able to kind of do this. So, you know, I just want to give a big thank you to him because he helps us to keep us going, right? So we've got the camera on the embroidery machine. We've also got, what was that?
It's all right.
It's all right. We've got the camera on the embroidery machine. We've got the camera on the laptop. So we've got desk cam. So it's like we're all over the place. So there's cameras everywhere. But I want you guys to really capture it. So, okay, it's finished with the little cheeks. And so I'm going to take this thread off. And I'm going to go ahead and put the black thread back on because we're going to embroider the little mouth. So let me go ahead and change that thread. Oops, I missed the mark there. Not sure if the knot took, so let me do that again. Boy, I'm having a hard time with this one. Not sure if that even took. I think it did, but I'm not sure. I kind of just made a little tangled mess here. So let me just grab my scissors and snip some of this off. I'll kind of leave that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that didn't work. Okay, we're going to go back and we're going to take this off. I need to cut my thread here. We had a little knot going on that wasn't too happy with. Have to rethread this. Okay. Alrighty. It didn't like that. So let's go ahead and cut our thread here. Now we've got a little bit of a jump stitch here that goes on in the cheeks, and I'm just going to go ahead and snip that off. And I'm just going to snip it close enough just so that it's out of the way. And then we can go ahead and continue. Now, this is where the mouth is really, really thin. So this is the part where I kind of ran it twice. And so I wasn't too happy with it the first time, I think, because of the material I was using. It was a little too dense. And you could barely see the little mouth on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run that stitch one more time. So I'm going to go to my machine here and I'm just going to hit the plus sign and I'm going to go a negative thread. So that brings it back a color, and then I just hit OK. And it's going to restitch that little mouth one more time. So I'll hit the go button. It'll go back to that same spot, stitch it one more time, just because I want to make sure that it really stands out a little bit. And it's pretty much a really thin mouth. So if you want to play with the mouth and in Brilliance, you can do that as well. Make it a little thicker or make it just a different little mouth. And just draw your own, really. Okay, so it's finished that. And so the last two steps is basically just covering the entire ghost again. And then it's going to do the satin stitch. And the satin stitch takes 15 minutes, so I doubt we'll get to that. But let's come over here. I'm going to grab this hoop, and this is where I wanted to kind of show you. I know we're kind of running low on time, so I'm going to just grab these scissors and I'm just going to cut a piece of the fabric here, and I'm going to lay it right on the back here. I'm going to cut this other piece off because we really don't need it. There we go. So we're just going to lay that down and we're just going to cover it here underneath there. So we are on the back. So this is your front. You're going to flip the hoop over to the back, lay it right on top. Now, if you have any threads that you want to cut off, you can certainly do that. You know, grab some threads and clean it up back here. You just want to clean up as much as you can. Make it nice and clean back here. And then I'm just going to lay the fabric right side facing me. And then I'm going to take my painter's tape and I'm just going to tape this down. And let's see if I'm battling with the tape now. Let's see if I can get a little piece out. Of course, there we go. So I'm just taking, and you can be pretty generous, I'm just going to cover the top here. You want to do the bottom, and then I'm going to do the sides as well. And all you want is just to hold it in place. You just want to make sure that it sticks. Don't like that little piece hanging out. Not ideal to do, but needed to get that out. And then I'm going to have one more here on the sides. And I am going to cut one more here. I know we're running really low on time, so just going to show you these prep steps. There we go. So we're going to have that, and this is what we're going to do to put right back on the hoop, and then it's going to go ahead and just stitch around it, and then it'll start doing the satin stitch. And so you'll end up with your little ghost with the little satin stitch. So I'll go ahead and put that on the machine so you can just see that last piece here. And you can see here, I've got that bottom one all secure with the tape. And I'm going to go ahead and change my threads, and then I'll allow the machine to do that final stitch. And then I'll end up with my little ghost. So that's everything that you need. Do you need Embroiance to do this project? No, you do not. You do not, unless you want to change anything on the design or add some fonts or anything as well. I like to just look at it in Embroiance to be able to see what's going on in the design before I actually stitch it out. But you can totally do this just following the instructions that are in there. Okay, I know we are right on time, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate all that you do to support our channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I hope to be crafting with you soon. Bye, everyone.
So long for now, so long. Glad you stayed a while. Hope you liked my crafting style. Hope I left you with a smile. By now, keep your mind and space clutter-free. Hope your day is bright as can be. So long, my friends, till we craft once again. Bye now, stay crafting. See you tomorrow. So long, my friends, till we craft once again.